The superhero we decided to pick to do our project on is Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man comics that came out in the 1960s. If you don't know anything about Spider-Man, kind of the backstory is that he was a high school student that was bit by a radioactive spider during a field trip, and as a result gained the powers of a spider, such as climbing up walls, extra strength, spider sense, and stuff like that. And as a result, he uses these powers to fight crime while also trying to manage his social life and schoolwork.
The main problems Spider-Man faces are with mortality and morality, along with the fact that he has a tendency to run out of web during major battles. And the main concept that we wanted to embrace was a modified web shooter that would allow him to reload without fumbling with canisters.
When trying to figure out who our main target population was, we needed to focus on two different groups of fans of Spider-Man. One is the hardcore comic books fans, and the other one is the casual movie fans. We wanted to capture both of these groups in our personas to please the comic book fans and not anger them by changing Spider-Man too much, but by also bringing in new fans of the movies.
In regards to the morality issue of Spider-Man, where the police force see him as a vigilante and don't trust him, we considered making a camera that would induce mask that had a live feed to the police station.
Another concept that we explored was a possible use of giving Spider-Man a sword. We realized, however, that this would not work because it was too much of a significant change for Spider-Man. It also gave him the ability to kill, which Spider-Man is not.
A third possible design that we experimented with was a modification of the web shooter that Spider-Man currently uses. This modification would allow him to have canisters around his wrist to act like a revolver, and also be able to change from different web types that would be related to a spider.
For our predispositions, we found that Spider-Man is very intelligent and that he has the resources to make various gadgets. He also works alone in a very large city, along with no police help, and on top of that, he is largely misunderstood by the total populace, and his morality is in question by the police.
After looking through various forums and databases, we found out more about Spider-Man's character. We found out more about his strengths and weaknesses and why people like him. A lot of reasons why people like Spider-Man is because he's a relatable person and a great character for the younger crowd. He also has a sense of mortality where he is a superhero, but he's still able to get hurt. And also, he is a very moral character in his values. He also has increased abilities, but he also uses gadgets that he makes with his increased intelligence.
In a primary research interview that we conducted with an advocate of the series, he said that it's important that we focus on the strengths of Spider-Man, such as his intelligence, but also realize that his weaknesses, such as physical strength, are something that need to be focused on. He said that it's important to make sure that nothing severe is changed because it would upset the fan base significantly.
The insights that we gained from our primary and secondary research were primarily that the fan base wants to be able to maintain their relatability to Spider-Man in the integrity and morality side of things, so that's why the sword idea didn't work, mainly because it gave him the possibility to harm somebody. Another insight that we gained was that he needed to maintain vulnerability, so armor was out. And finally, the other insight that we gained was that he's very innovative and intelligent, which meant that anything that we wanted to propose as a design was viable for Spider-Man, because he is thrifty and he can essentially design anything that he wanted.
Based on Spider-Man's needs in the comics of him running out of web and having to change different web types, we decided that for our final concept, we were going to come up with a modified web shooter that had two buttons that Spider-Man could choose from. One that let him refill the current type of web that he had, and one that let him change web types. To do this, we had a rotating web canister at the base of his web shooter that would change between the different canisters holding the web that he needed. And we also added a module that vibrated and let Spider-Man know that his current canister was under 20%. Based on our final concept, we came up with a paper prototype that we used in our usability testing. In our usability testing, we came up with 3 different scenarios that Spider-Man might find himself in the comics or in the movies. In these 3 different scenarios, we asked the user how they would use the paper prototype to react to these different scenarios. What the end result we found in these usability tests were that The users found the button layouts, the two buttons that we added to his web shooters. They understood how to use them, but they were confused as to how the rotating web canister holder would be actually implemented and how Spider-Man would understand how to use it.
In considering the strategies for implementing our web shooter for Spider-Man, we looked at both the business and technical aspects. In regards to business, we thought that it would be very easy because Spider-Man's already highly marketable, he's a very popular character, and we figured that we can use the web shooter as some type of toy. They already have plastic toys for the web shooter, and it would also be easy to implement these things into video games to get people to buy more of those. As regards for technical, in the actual comic book and movie series, it would be easy enough for Spider-Man to create this gadget. He already has a number of other gadgets and certainly has the means to create this. And for the actual toy, we figured that we'd make some type of plastic web shooter that could shoot something like different types of silly string to represent the different types of web.
There's also a social impact of the strategies that we need to consider, where we believe that this new implementation of a gadget will really bring in more casual fans to the series.
With great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift, my curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.